So,
get this party started quickly.
People might get mad because I said you're one of my favorite people, but I meant it. Because I could be toxic with you.
Shh, don't tell nobody.
So, I got notes.
Oh, boy.
Because we talk about everything and everybody.
Oh, man, you better keep it kosher on here, Whitney.
I don't have to.
Oh, goodness.
So
Perfect
just so y'all know. If hypothetically you do have an issue with Bri and I catch it, I don't really care about entrepreneurship that much sometimes. Because Bri's really like my cousin too.
You know?
Somewhere we're really related. We got similar cousins. But first question, before you became Coach Bri, you was just Bri.
Mm-hmm.
Walk us through the journey of being just Bri, and what's one thing that people don't know about just Bri?
I don't know one thing that people don't know about a just Bri per se, but I guess walking through becoming Coach Bri, for lack of a better term. So I will say that today is actually 3 days shy of being 10 years that I went into the shelter. 10 years ago, I went into the shelter, and that was life changing. I had grown up in a house where it was pretty stable for the most part. In terms of like when I grew up with my mom, it was definitely stable. When I moved in with my pops is when the pretty stable kind of came into the question.
Okay.
And then that escalated quickly. Shit.
Why did it escalate?
We got into a domestic assault, and pretty much one thing turned into another, and I was out his house the next day, never went back, and yeah, I became pregnant with my daughter shortly after that. Homeless until she was about a year and a half, 2 years old. Or 2, actually, about to be 3. So, yeah.
So when you think about your teenage years and you became a mom as a teenager, most people know that, right? She was a teenage mom. That's what I'm asking. You answered the question for me. Navigating shelters. What is one thing that kept you from completely giving up as a teenager?
I guess it kind of goes back to the other question. That was a loaded question that you started me off with. It's not too many questions that leave me speechless, but I don't do a lot of reflecting, if I'm honest. So it's not a lot that I'm like, oh, dang, like I sat in that. But this year I have done some more reflecting than I typically do. And I would have to say, what stopped me from giving up, obviously your child, like sometimes when you can't do it for yourself, you have to look for those external factors that are gonna keep you pushing. And her father hasn't ever been involved in her life, so I knew that I'm all she has. So if I let go now, shit, nothing beats failing like trying. So if I quit, if I give up, if I succumb to the circumstances, that's ultimately failing. And I knew that I needed to at least try to do something better, and then try turn to apply, and here we are.
Is there one memory from your past that like fuel you to keep going every day?
Yeah, for sure. My mom, she went on a girls trip that went sour. She was poisoned by a date rape drug on the trip. Got multi-system failure, ended up in kidney liver failure. Liver regenerated itself, but she ended up in kidney failure for about 20 years before getting a transplant. And there was countless times that I would see her sick, damn near killed over, and still getting up to work on a business idea she had, or still getting up to go to work, or doing travel assignments, or whatever it took to really make sure that we stayed eating and didn't really feel the wrath. So how dare I give up?
That's so crazy, because we went to Woman Evolve in July, August, and we brought one of the alphas with us, and she's older. And she was like, I've never had the true experience of like a girl's girl. You go on vacation with me, there's no roaming by yourself. I don't like, if we come together, we go home together, because it ain't gonna be on my conscience, and you ain't gonna have me on the news looking crazy.
For sure.
And she's just like, I thought it was a standard.
Yeah.
And she's like, I've never, and she travels a lot. Like, I'll tell you her name offline, but you know her. And she travels like almost every month. So now I just be looking at some of her friends like,
what y'all been
you
doing?
Dirty bitches.
No, it's so bad. You heard about the chick and she went to Africa. I want to say it was like Tunisia or somewhere. And she
was like rock climbing or something.
Nah, she left the club early. And her friend stayed in the club, but she left to go back to her hotel room. Got all the way back to the hotel room and then was like kidnapped and like beat up real bad, fought for her life to like get out of there. And yeah, just a whole crazy story. But like, to me, I'm like, you gotta pee, we gotta pee. Like,
oh, you leaving, we leaving.
We leaving, yeah, for sure.
Wrap it up. Yeah, that's crazy. So being a teen mom is a stigma. What's something about that experience that people misunderstand?
There's nothing that people misunderstand. It's what do the kids misunderstand when they're having the kids. And that's, somebody posted something the other day, and it was probably intended to have a little punch to it. And they were like, yo, would you still have kids if you had self-respect for yourself? And and I commented straight up under it and was like, probably not. You know what I mean? I love my daughter to death. However, you got to evaluate the circumstances that got you to where you are. And ultimately, given your body in any capacity before you really understand who you are is a lack of self-respect. And I'm not preaching the whole, you know, no sex before marriage conversation, but I am saying that I was too young to have made an informed decision. Somebody else commented and was like, well, most people, shout out to Kim, actually. She commented, Kim Mariah, and she was like, yo, most people have kids before their frontal lobe is finished growing. And I was like, as somebody who had a kid before my frontal lobe was finished.
What age did you have, Jordan?
Oh, 16. Frontal lobes don't usually finish growing until about 21 to 25.
I had my first child on my birthday. I turned 19, but I was pregnant at 18 with my first child.
Yeesh, that's crazy. I'm too selfish to share a birthday. That
was a thing. Now I feel like I didn't think this through.
I was born on Easter Sunday. And
I thought it was cute.
But
yeah, I think communication. I feel like I don't show to my kids. I tell them everything. So like even Renee, like some of her friends are pregnant and she'd be like, thank God you tell me everything. She'd be like, because I don't know what I would do. And I feel like people be like to me, you overshare with your kids. I'm like, no, because they can always be able to trust their mama. They can't trust y'all.
Nah, my sister was, I think my mom had did the like scared straight parenting with my sister. So my sister was too scared to like even play games. Me, on the other hand, I was always a rebel. So I was kind of like, I'm going to do what I want to do anyway.
Let me touch your nose.
You know, like a little bit of, no, you know, but Mom Dukes kept it a stack with us about her life. And I think like just that part has definitely transitioned into my parenting today with like, yeah, we're gonna keep it a stack.
So how did motherhood change your relationship with yourself before it changed the relationship you have with the world?
I had to take myself more seriously. I had to step into a role that I had to be the best I could be in that role. Like there was no half stepping, and that eventually transitioned into what my life looks like today, because not half stepping from being a parent made me not half step for being a person. Like I said, I had a kid before I could even decide, you know, what I wanted to go to school for, if college was something that I was looking at. So I really just had to like persevere for sure.
So would you say, Because most people would say like, oh, hearing that she had it together at 16, would you say it took you time to figure this out?
Oh, hell no. I didn't have shit together at 16. Nothing was together at 16 at all. I remember not wanting to have to go get my GED because I was in like AP classes when I was in high school. I was just doing dumb shit. And I remember like really being devastated that like my life no longer permitted me trying to go back to a regular high school and get a regular education and having to go get a GED and stuff. So absolutely not.
Me and my friend at the time, I was going to RCC night classes. I used to sneak Jakai. I was way smaller than I would get oversized hoodies, snacks, and sit in the back of the class. And one day the teacher was just like, give me him so you could take your test. And I'm like, oh shit.
Like you knew he was back in.
Like he never cried. He never made a sound. Like it's just like, damn, she greedy. Like that's the vibe I was giving. And my friend, she always covered for me. So it's like I used to sneak him in RCC to finish my
That's actually where I got my GED from. I took the test up at RCC, but that was me so my mom's actually was pregnant with me in her last couple of semesters in nursing school, and then also took me once I was born into her lectures. And I think that plays a big part in why my head's so big, but nah. But I did the same thing with my daughter. I remember, shout out to Professor Saucer at Quincy College. I remember taking night classes and like having to work with the shelter, get them to pull teeth to let me like take night classes in a shelter where the curfew was 6 p.m. They're like, you want to go out after curfew to classes, but she would let me bring my daughter to class, and she was bigger, so like it would be like sit her there with a little tablet or something. But for sure, them teachers are undervalued.
Professor Saucer.
You might, shoot. Professor Saucer is the sugar honey iced tea. Unless you saying it wasn't no sugar in that tea.
She was cool, but I was the bad one. I was the bad kid. If she taught at Mildred, I was the bad one.
Oh, see, I wouldn't know how far back she go, but for sure.
What's one of the hardest conversations you had to have with yourself as a young mother trying to survive and trying to succeed?
Oh, shit. Realizing that I let temporary feelings create permanent decisions for my life, and that would alter it forever. When I was in 9th, 10th grade, you couldn't tell me that I wasn't going to the military, that I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to do so much shit that like when you realize it finally hits you, because at first when you're 16, 17, 18, your friends can't even go out for real still. So you're not getting hit by, I got a 2-year-old at home. But I remember getting turned down for going to the military. Had nothing to do with having a kid. It just had to do with being a little menace to society. And then I remember, you remember that show? Maybe you a little bit older than me, but you remember that show?
Don't do that. Don't do that. First of all, don't.
Nah, but you remember that show, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody?
Yes. Okay, so we like in the same age bracket. So you remember we was watching it together.
You remember when they took them on the boat, right? And they had the school on the boat. So Quincy College had a like learning abroad program at one point in time that I would have loved to have like signed up for. I was living in the shelter at the time, so it just felt like, yo, that would have been dope to just like go. But because I had a kid, I couldn't, go and learn abroad. And I know that in a lot of those situations, like you'd be like, whatever, but like I wasn't a stupid kid. You feel what I'm saying?
Do you feel like it's a regret?
Hell no. Absolutely
not a regret. Regret's probably a strong word. Like, so personally me, I feel like had I known that other people would be so irresponsible, they daddy, I would have probably held off to enjoy life on my terms, because now I don't get to really do everything I want to do because I have to put them first.
For sure.
So not a regret, but like.
Well, I say all the time, like, I've been raising a kid since I was a kid. So as soon as Shorty turned 18, like, Breezy got the groove back.
You're not gonna have another baby?
So like
No. You and your partner are not gonna have
so like I would love to see my fiance like in the whole barefoot and pregnant, catered to her, like, you know, that whole shebang. But like pregnancy, childbirth was so traumatizing for me that like hell,
you were a kid.
And not even just that, like I was severely preeclamptic, which is why I gave birth. Blood pressure 172/121, damn near dying, her heart rate dropping. Like I was homeless at the time. I didn't have a support system. I remember giving birth to her and it was like 2-3 days before Thanksgiving, and then everybody has to like go back to their respective places, and I'm just in this hospital by myself. Don't even have the baby next to me because she's in the NICU. My blood pressure's too high to get up and go walk and see her by myself. So, you know, I digress with all the details, but for sure, like I wouldn't do that again.
Yeah, so childbirth for Black women is dangerous and it's not talked about enough, but I do think it's a beautiful thing for you and your partner to experience, because you and your partner have created a union and support system for each other together.
So it's twofold there. So one piece of this, yes, childbirth is still beautiful, and all the ugliness that I experienced personally, I still think that childbirth is beautiful. Nah, I feel like if it doesn't happen for my fiance in a way where she can give birth to her own kid.
Give birth?
Huh? You said what now?
Who's gonna be a daddy? Wait a minute.
Look.
Now that we think
I'm gonna be the Maddie. Nah, but all jokes aside, like I would love to watch her go through that process, get to experience it, because it is a beautiful thing when done right. I also think that like when it comes down to it, like back to your original question, do I regret it? No. Would I have done it once I got older and thought about it? I'd probably be one of them 40-year-old parents had I thought about like doing it quote unquote right.
Mm-hmm.
You be careful what you wish for.
Why are you a 40-year-old parent?
I'm a 40-year-old parent. My back is hurting me right now.
For picking a baby up.
I'm not 40 yet.
Listen.
Just by the way, I'm not 40 yet. So that's
I'm not 30 yet. So I mean that still speaks volumes this year.
So we're not in the same age bracket.
Yeah, like my daughter will be 13 this year and I'm going on 30. So like that feels crazy because it's a milestone birthday for her and for me. So I'm like, who I celebrate this year?
You both.
Nah, but all jokes aside, like, you know.
You celebrate you both.
I think you're more emotionally
We should do a 13
sound.
going on 30 theme.
I was thinking that too. I've actually looked at it already too. But you're more emotionally sound when you have kids when you're older. Like when I just think about like my 18-year-old self dealing with my daughter versus my 25-year-old self, like I'm a different person. And I think that it's great that she's an understanding kid, but you know, we won't know if she's screwed up or not for a couple of years. So
True. So if your younger self could see you now, what do you think she would say to you?
have you learned shit? Like you went through all of this. Have you actually learned shit? Like, yeah. I think it's important to not have too many of the what if conversations with myself, because then that what if could drive you down a rabbit hole you don't need to like go down. So I mean, yeah, I'll be all right. People get shot every day, B.
I said we're not gonna do that today, Bri. Okay, first of all, you had me down the rabbit hole with that whole surf thing. I was really planning the funeral for myself.
Look, hey yo, I was
so bad.
I was like, I know she don't want to see this, but I gotta be the one to tell her.
I canceled the whole work day. I said, oh, this is what we doing.
So in case y'all don't know,
This is what we
Whitney
doing.
is madly in love with Sue Surf. Shout out to Sue Surf.
Okay.
Free Sue Surf until it's backwards, unless he snitched. Which
So far, a rumor report is
how I
false.
feel about it is I could put up a post today and be like, Whitney robbed 3 banks to get a bag. And everybody on social media is gonna be like, yo, you know that chick Whitney, she robbed 3 banks. Like, people could put anything out there. So unless I see some paperwork, it's still free Sue Surf.
I went down. I called the courthouse.
Hey yo.
Don't play with us.
You got the paperwork.
I called the courthouse.
Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Is there paperwork?
They all told.
Wait, no, wait.
Let me address that.
You really called this is a true story.
Yes, I love that man.
Go ahead.
You know them Fatal Attraction movies? Yo, Sue, just make sure your bodyguard is strapped when you see Wade.
You might need a new bodyguard because clearly, if your bodyguard is letting all this go by, this is a problem. Like,
Hey, yo.
what it was, and this is a RICO case. I feel like this is what it is. It's consumers minding street people's business. Y'all don't know street politics. So if all 10 convicts have the same story, then all y'all told. You can't say one told if they all got the same deal. Everybody, all 10 of y'all told. If we're gonna look at it from that perspective, I think it's a bunch of 9-to-5 working YouTubers minding street politic business, and it's gonna get y'all hurt because I love that man.
Anything to absolve her man.
Oh no! If he would have did it, I called you. If he would have been out of like, oh my god, I was really like, damn, I'm about to have to give him a funeral.
So okay,
it would have been done, and
I would go down rabbit holes with. So here's the rabbit hole.
And I don't know if he did or not.
So
but from what I've seen, it's looking like he's.
I know this your interview, but I got a question for you. So
wait, what's the question first?
What place does snitch culture have in consumer culture? And what I mean by that is the 6ix9ines, the you know what I mean, Gunna, like where does that stand? Should consumer culture have any say in street politics? Does street politics seep over into consumer culture?
No,
you can't just give me a solid no. I need a why.
I think that if you play the streets, the one thing I hate is a street nigga fucking with regular people who aren't like, you don't look good.
It's like pick on somebody your own size.
You look like nigga, go get the niggas that's killing y'all. That's my view. This nigga's killing y'all. Go find them. Why are we bothering regular people who get up, go to work, take care of their family? It just doesn't look. I wouldn't want to be your girlfriend because it would be like, yo, you're really not that nigga. And I think when you have the wrong circle of people around you, they will co-sign like, yeah, this is to play my boy just robbed this man. And it's like, but he robbed the librarian. So do we really count that as a win?
Like, you're not gangster for that, bro.
It's not a win. But now if he was like, yo, we robbed another street dude. Okay, you got that. So I don't think they should mix because it's unfair to the consumer in all aspects.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Last rabbit hole question, right? So arguably, do we consider Gunna a street nigga or not?
Who's Gunna?
We can't even.
No, I'm being serious.
Girl, man, Doug got one of my coming and go. Yeah.
I don't know you.
Him all along. Oh man, with Lil Baby. All right, so we gotta cut this whole strip because
let me look you up.
Look him up. I think this. I'm curious to see what needs.
Now I know Lil Baby went to college though.
Because from my understanding, what I've seen of Gunna,
he told.
Hold on, before we get there, because that's going to be determined by how you answer this question.
Oh, he said drip. I do know that song, Drip Too Hard.
You know that, okay?
But I only paid attention to Lil Baby.
Hey, yo, shout out to Lil Baby.
My bad.
Wham. But look, so my question, right? So Gunna, from what I've seen, he's never claimed to be a street nigga. Like he never came in like, I'm from the trenches, like. He might be like every other black person who, you know what I mean, none of us grew up with silver spoons for real, unless we grew up with silver spoons, but it's like...
But you know what it is? Rap culture is so messy. He may not be from the streets for real, but perception is, in order to make it as a rapper, I gotta But
he never came... Like, this the dude we talking about, Rihanna dressed up as him for Halloween because he was on his fashion drip shit. No. So like... The reason I posed the question is
he's
because
technically a consumer,
right? So is he held to the same street code as a street nigga who's snitching? Like, think about it. We got Boston rap right now. There's a bunch of people out here who are being called rats left and right.
Boston has a rap.
Boston and the surrounding areas.
Yeah, right. Boston and the surrounding areas. There's people who are being called rats.
Boston rapper?
And Boston rappers.
Tag me.
And arguably, they all are street niggas, right? So if you, to some extent, got that rap and you snitching, then it's like, bro, like you breaking
I will
code.
say this, though. If Gunna is hanging around other street dudes, you know somewhat of the rules.
So you guilty by association is what you're saying?
If you hanging around, like, because Lil Baby, I feel like he was a little heretish.
I mean, when was the man? So in other words, you saying he's
hanging around
it's
thugs.
snitching because he went from consumer to street nigga by affiliation is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
He was hanging with Young Thug, so he got caught up in the RICO case.
Who? Gunna was with Young Thug?
That was like his crew. He was with YSL, so he got caught up in that whole
Young Thug's a Gunna.
Yeah, it was like a big RICO case in Atlanta.
Well, I know Young Thug was.
Well, y'all know I'm ATL all day, so
is he a gangster, Young Thug?
let me give you a tiny bit of the background, right? So, Gunna was kind of like the musical anchor of YSL.
Okay.
YSL was a music group, but there was also a gang in Atlanta that got like killed.
Allegedly.
Well, according to Gunna, they was definitely a gang.
So then, if it's according to him, he knows the.
But that's what they saying he snitched on.
So that was.
Oh, this is with the whole little Woody thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I never took interest in him because Woody overshadowed. He took the limelight.
Can I say something real quick though?
Funny.
Yeah, talk to
I
him.
think Gunna's a me, right? Like y'all probably know this, but like there's more people like me in the hood than like Young Thugs. Like there's a few like real gangster dudes that get to the paper in very scrupulous ways, right?
Yeah.
But most of us is just chilling. We going to school, we coming back home.
Right.
But we grew up with these dudes. Like those,
Right.
like for me, I mean, but for me in particular, like some of my best friends, you know what? I'm gonna edit that out. But like I know people
They hood niggas. That's
that
what
are
we
hood
gonna
dudes,
say.
right? But I'm not going to be putting myself in a position to snitch because I will snitch.
Hey yo, I love how you worded that.
like my bros. Like if I do something with them and I know I'm with them and I'm doing that, I already have it in my head that like I'm not gonna snitch, whatever. Because those are not because of the street, but those are my brothers. Like I love them dudes, right?
So you're loyal to your circle,
and that's what that. When you're in the street, quote unquote, the street, like those are my brothers because we went through a lot. We got harassed by cops together. We got shot at together. Like we went through. Those are my brothers, right?
So did Gunna tell on?
So on the whole crew. So here's my question to
But those ain't his brothers.
Right, but I was just about to say, so here's my question to that. Because arguably Gunna's fucking with them because it's business.
It's business. It's business.
So at what point does he become guilty by association? Right, that's what I'm getting at. Like 6ix9ine, he wanted to be a hood nigga. You feel what I'm saying? Like he wanted to run with the Bloods. He wanted the rap. So now you can't be snitching. You are officially guilty by association.
What do you know about?
I won't say I grew up in the projects or in the hood, right? What I will say is all my cousins did. You know, you go chill with your cousins on the weekend type shit. So you do hood rat shit with your friends, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll call it guilty by association, right? That was how my moms was bringing me up. Once I moved in with my pops, I started dibbling and dabbling, doing my own shit. Then you fully immersed. Once you make some transactions or, you know what I mean, build certain relationships, alliances, loyalty, you got to stick to that. So I'm the type of person like, I'm not fucking with the whole snitching shit that like, I won't even listen to the nigga 6ix9ine's music. Like Spotify, you recommend that shit, I'm thumbs and down. I can't even tell you none of his music because I can't respect that. I can't put $1 in the pocket of somebody who went against code. And understand that like, I caught a case when I was 17 that it wasn't even me, dog. Like it really wasn't even me. But I didn't say shit. You feel what I'm saying? And I let niggas have their fun while I was locked up. And it was during the 4th of July too. So we was eating boiled hot dogs and stuff. You know what I mean? Like bullshit. But the point is that like, you don't have to be gangster. You don't have to be a street nigga. You don't have to be thug to have ethics. Because that what we call street code is really morals and ethical values that exist strictly in the street for certain circumstances, but In business, if you gonna move like that in the street, I ain't gonna fuck with you like that in business neither.
Not at all.
So while like a lot of people are coming after Gunna, I ain't gonna hold you. Gunna got a little bit of an exception for me because I love that Scrooge McDuck got one of my rooms on flooding and gold. I'm gonna listen to that shit.
I highly recommend that new Gunna album, by the way. That joint's fire.
I really don't know him, but it sounds like he's just a consumer.
And that's what I'm getting at. Like 6ix9ine, you went looking for
but
trouble,
that's why
found that shit, and like.
And people do this in business. Just because y'all do business together, y'all are not friends. Yeah. And that's what people. That's why when it comes to business, I'm very direct. You're not my friend.
Yeah. But
yo, why you look at me when you say that?
Hey yo,
I was looking at the camera.
She stayed over that way. But when it come to Gunna, right? I'm gonna go back on my word for half a second, right? When it come to him and the whole snitching thing, right? I still have to say that I don't condone him dry snitching, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's a piece of this that y'all ever heard of that biker gang that like, don't give me the line with the name of the biker gang, but it was like a biker gang and they had like a big ass brawl where it was like over 100 niggas arrested, like 100 of them motherfuckers arrested. And none of them talked, so they all walked. You feel what I'm saying? So had Gunna kept his mouth shut, I think, and back to me wanting to be a lawyer, what I think most people forget is that you have the right to remain silent. You got your 5th Amendment, your 2nd Amendment, your 14th Amendment. Like, dog, you don't gotta say nothing. And if they had enough evidence to actually convict you, you'd be smoked by now. Now, fair to say they were arrested in their circumstances and there was a significant case built around them. But again, court is about reasonable doubt. Is there beyond 10% reasonable doubt that somebody else might have did this shit? And if he would have shut up, they wouldn't have had a case that was a RICO case about it being a gang. If he didn't on record say, yes, we were a gang, I would have been like, man, we were a record label. I signed up for a record label. I signed up to be a musician for a record label.
What I'm saying. People try to go against their moral characteristics to fit in with stuff that is not. That this happened to me in middle school. Girl group, gang, not like gang, but we was terrorizing other girls in other schools. And we were doing things like tagging our clothes. The police ended up coming to the school one day. We, the real street kids, hid the shit. The one who's not came into the room, and we're all in the room like, no, we don't know that. We don't. Girl comes into the room, feet on the desk, my name at the top of the sneaker. I looked at the police and I just smacked her like, girl, what are you doing? Like, why would you come in with my name at the top? Like, those my sneakers. And it's because you're not from here that you didn't even know. Like, when other kids are wanting, like, yo, they're looking for y'all, we didn't run straight to them. We went to go hide our shit.
Yeah. Nah,
because I only look cute in orange for me, and now my kids.
Well, they ain't had me in orange. They had me in like green and other shit.
I only look good in handcuffs for Whitney reasons.
Hey, yo. Hey, yo, pause.
Yo, I'm done with you.
Nah.
I hope it work out for Gunna, but sometimes you just gotta stick. If you a geek, it's okay to be a geek. It's okay to be the engineer, like.
Nah, even down to Screw just being a geek, right? Like, I ran for politics.
Like, y'all pay me a check and you gonna get a service and I'm gonna go home. Y'all little extra dealings has nothing to do. He should have been like, yo, respectfully, this is a place of business. That extra stuff, keep it outside. Don't bring it in here.
Now, fair to say you talked about conforming, though. And, like, I ran for politics. I ran for city council. I actually announced on my 25th birthday. And before I'm turning 30, I'm having this like revelation of like, oh shit. Huh?
You gonna run again?
Oh no. Well, what I'll say is we don't know what the future holds. The most political response.
Didn't I just tell you? I think I'll be good for the president.
Yeah, you be shit. But I feel like I lost a little bit.
Yeah, what was that thought? There was a lot behind that shit. Like,
hey yo, I'm gonna get back to that, right? But nah, I feel like I lost a lot. I lost a lot of myself in trying to conform to what I thought a politician should look like. You know, understanding that I had a criminal record already, that I had already gone through some shit, that like my record wasn't squeaky clean like in Obama or something.
What's that guy's name? And he like point of order. He was not conformed. He died now, but you know what I'm talking about? And he used to always cuss them out. Oh my God. The black guy. And he used to be the white lady. He'd be like, can I explain?
Was he in politics?
Yeah.
Politician?
I gotta look that one up.
I'm gonna send you the videos later. Not here, down south. I'm gonna send you the videos later. He was cussing them out.
Nah, so the loadedness behind the shit was Whitney's so direct that like we might be at war with other nations because she might be like, I ain't got time for this shit, and like accidentally on purpose disrespect another nation, and then we be at war because of her attitude. So I'm like, shit, should get shit done.
What are you saying? You want beef with us?
Our finances as a country will be in order. It should have the books in order.
Sir, do you want beef with us? Blink twice if you want beef with us.
I'm gonna have to be like the communications director or some shit, or like
Bri, he want beef with us? I'm
gonna have to be like, Madam President. Now you know I can't say that shit like that.
Everybody go on mute. Cameras off. They want beef with us.
Look, she no hot mics, no none of that, because they really catch us slipping as a country, fucking around with Whitney.
I told Whitney it can't be worse than what we have now. So
nah, it's virtually impossible. Honestly, you know what? Pivotal moment in life, right? Bang! I never give this motherfucker no credit because it's like it's him, right? But what I will say changed my life, and you can take any situation and learn something, learn shit out of it. Mm-hmm. What changed my life was when this motherfucker really got elected with no political like background, history, resume, nothing. It flipped off a switch in my head that was like, yo, I could do whatever I put my mind to. Like, yo, this dude really don't have no background. So from there, I actually started applying for jobs that I wasn't qualified for.
Yeah, shut up.
No, I'm dead ass serious. And I got a job that I was not fucking qualified for, but it changed my life.
I'm so done with you.
No, I kid you not. I was living in the shelter.
I believe
and
it.
I was like, I refused to apply for Burger King, McDonald's, Taco Bell, all the shit that was close to me and that everybody thought we should have applied for being on food stamps. So I started going to USA.gov and applying for jobs that was, if it had the word preferred in the education requirement, like preferred bachelor's, So I started applying for jobs that I had no qualifications for, and I got one. My goal at the time was to leave the shelter making $30,000. My first job offer was for $33,000. My first check in business was for $35,000. So like when we talk about manifestation, it doesn't always happen in a linear motion where I just jump from, you know, being a teen parent to an entrepreneur. Like, hell no, I work jobs. I at one point in time, you'd have thought I was faking because like, hey yo, I had 5-10 jobs, but not for real. I had 4 jobs. I was working 3 positions in one company. They didn't even know how to pay me because it hadn't happened to them where they had somebody employed in 3 different areas in their company. And then I had a second side job where I had 2 offshoot clients that I would go to. So like I've grinded, you know what I mean? Like I tell people all the time, like entrepreneurship is not the skip the process, easy way out. I'm not working for the man. You right, because you are the man, which means you take the wins, you take the losses, you take the crosses when people do you dirty in business, all that shit. Like back to the moral values and ethics. Like
that's how I know who wants entrepreneurship for real. By like, what are you complaining to me about? You don't want it.
Shit, I done cried on the phone with her.
I got mad shit going on. I still do show up, but you don't be wanting it like.
And she's mean, so it's not easy to cry on the phone with her.
I'm not mean. I'm just
she be like, fuck you crying for? She's like that big sister that like kicked the shit out of you. And
first of all, my defense, I asked, do you want like corporate coach or like sister coach? Y'all be like, sister coach me. So I'm gonna be like, what the fuck you crying for?
Nah, but it's cathartic to have somebody that, you know what I mean, understands the shit that you be going through in business to like sit there with you and listen to them tears
video,
without,
bro.
Huh?
You didn't
Yo, shut up. Listen to your tears. Hey, yo, listen to your tears.
Talking about some tears.
Listen to your tears without spilling them all over the town. You know what I mean? Painting the town red with your blood. You feel what I'm saying? Now, she's talking shit because there's this video of one day she was on the phone coaching me, right? Because your coach should have a coach.
I don't take any fault for what happens in this video. We're going to show you the video.
Hold on.
This is already a top 10 episode.
Listen.
I'm going to show you the video. I am not taking ownership of what I coached.
I signed a release for this right here. I ain't signed a release for that video. So if they clip
you're going to show the video. You're going to pull it up.
So I'm on the phone with her.
Her fiance is worse than me, by the way.
It gets so
complete
dirty.
editing job.
No loyalty between either one of them. So it gets so dirty. So I'm on the phone with her. She's coaching me. I'm walking around the house in my drawers, right? But I got cameras all over my crib. I got a 12-year-old. Listen, we can't be too safe now. So I'm walking around. I'm talking to her. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I bust my ass like
AARP commercial.
Like, hey yo, like
we're on the phone.
Are you at risk of a slip and fall?
And all I hear was, fuck. So I'm like, you okay?
Yo, that's gonna be the picture for the episode.
No, let me tell you, we're on a 3-way now. Me, her, and her fiance. We're talking. Fiance sends me video. I'm watching video, no sound. So I'm like, oh, you fucked up. Why would you do that? We hangs up call. So I was like, let me go back and look at the video. The sound effects.
She watched it twice.
Jesus sent me back. The sound. Her fiance put sound effects in the video.
Yo, you know.
I said your wife ain't shit. You know
like the like dramatic music, like when somebody falls in a movie or something. Like, yo, she really went in and like clipped the whole.
But I can't get her to bookkeep.
yo, it was so bad. And mind you, she fell too, like in the same exact spot a couple weeks prior. So I sent my video, but they were both tag teaming me, laughing at my video and not her video.
I told her to make her
that's
video.
Super petty though, by the way. I just want to point that out. Like, you gonna have a picture of me falling? I saved this.
Her video is hilarious. I'm like, yo, you need to make that.
Hey, yo, I'm an Aries, all right? God of War.
Make that content.
You're not about to get me, and I'm not about to get you better than you got me. Like that's
wild.
That video needs to go into the next question.
She keeps telling me, she's like, yo, Bri, that's your viral moment right there. Just drop the video.
Swear.
But I'm in my drawers, yo. Like, I don't want to drop the video.
So
I mean,
they box the Bri.
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, but
You good. That's like half of my.
That's besides the point.
Yo, I might
drop that Friday.
Yeah, might. We're gonna say in the camera.
She gonna drop it Friday, and it's gonna be on all the platforms. Hollywood Unlocked is going to be the funniest video you see.
Y'all got me hot. Where the AC at?
Right under you. So you ain't that hot. When did you first realize that your story itself was your business blueprint?
All right, bang. I'm gonna drop this in like 30 seconds. So I left the shelter. I was the first person to leave full-time state employment. I went back 6 months after separation because they had a panel for like their 10 or 20 year anniversaries and shit like that. As you can see, Mr. Producer Man, right? You don't need too much of a mic for me because this voice projects. Yeah. So what had happened was we was on the panel. It was supposed to be like 3 to 5 of us. The mics on the panel broke and they didn't know it until the event's over and they're watching the footage back and they couldn't hear nobody on the goddamn panel. But me. So, you know, look, but me. I'm the only one they could hear. So they pretty much
and no, she didn't break y'all mics.
Right? Yeah. So they pretty much, you know, they hear my story. They're like, yo, they asked me to come sit with their board of directors. So long story short, I get put on a committee as co-chair of the outreach committee. This is my introduction to marketing and outreach without me knowing that that's what it was. Because they were fundraising, they're like, hey, you know, you're going to be the keynote for the event, you know, to tell your story so we can raise money for other parents leaving out of the shelter. And I'm like, all right, cool, bang, whatever. So for 1.5 years, we planned this fashion show. It was called Fashion in the Future. Our goal was to raise $50,000 for young parents. I'm over my 30 seconds here, but we ended up raising over $105,000. And the crazy part was, I told my story. We had already hit our donations and didn't know it yet because we hadn't made the announcement. there was a donor in the audience that heard my story and was so compelled by it that she matched us dollar for dollar. So that dollar for dollar took us from 50K to 100K. So I was like, all right. And still to this day, I've worked with this organization. I've consulted with them since leaving there, with my for-profit, with my nonprofit, all that good stuff. But what the trigger was for me in my head was like, if these white folks could raise all this money telling my story and telling my story that how it's going to benefit somebody else who's in the same situation as me, like shit, I could tell my story and raise some money. So I won't say it wasn't a linear motion right into speaking or even entrepreneurship from there. But as I started getting to the point where entrepreneurship was coming into the picture, it was like, hey, yo, like, what did I learn being the co-chair of the outreach committee? What did I learn from marketing that, event? What did I learn from sitting back, being in the shelter, seeing how they run the place and doing all this other kind of shit? So I wanted to not just raise the money, but have a say in how the money was split up. Like, I got the first time the money was dispersed, I got a letter letting me know who it was dispersed to, how it was dispersed, what they were benefiting from. But I'm like, damn, like, what about all the other needs in my community, all of the other little reasons for respite, which is temporary relief from an adverse situation. So that's kind of how I came up with Resilient Roses Respite, the nonprofit I founded, and then pulling the resources that I had to build throughout that into the collaborative business network.
And it's a part of my framework. Like, I think everybody should experience entrepreneurship, but I think you should experience employment first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because entrepreneurship can be ghetto.
Did you see my post this morning? I literally, you always in my head. Get out of my head. Give me my brain back. So this morning, I said the same thing. I was like, yo, because I have like young mentees. That was how I got started off with coaching, was coaching young entrepreneurs. And I got some that hit me and they'd be like, yo, coach, like I'm starting a business this week, starting a business next week. And then it's like they're thinking that entrepreneurship is going to help them skip the process of hard work. And it's like, nah, go work a job that has the skills that you need for the industry you're interested in, and then, try to go tackle that.
Yeah, so like people are like, I'm about to start this business. I'll be like, why? They be like, oh, because I want this business. Why? Right? Like, nobody can ever answer the why completely.
For sure.
Wanting to make money is not a reason to get into entrepreneurship.
At all. It's actually the worst reason.
But I'm going to rapid fire these questions. You have a learn shit framework. What inspired learn shit? What does it stand for?
So Learn Shit stands for Successful Habits in Transition. It stemmed because when I was in school, I fell in love with psychology, particularly in the area of learning about stress. I was under a lot of stress in my life at that time, and I wanted to learn how to navigate that stress. Understanding that there was a correlation that kind of set a light bulb off in my head that bridges are held up by stress, different types of stress, but too much stress on a bridge will make it collapse. And that's the same thing with people. So ultimately, through the shit that I've been through, I've learned different lessons that help me to create a framework to help other people keep going. I remember when I first separated from shelter, people kept asking me, like, how did you do it? Or what did you do? Or what's something you would tell somebody else? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I was just moving and grooving. But as I got to a place where I was able to transition from surviving to thriving, it helped me to look back. They say hindsight is 20/20, and really be like, all right, like, shit actually stands for sort out the stress, hold yourself accountable, introspect, and target successful tactics. And that came from sort out the stress. Is this you stress or distress? Hold yourself accountable. How did we get here? Introspect.
Okay, I didn't tell you to coach them. Sign up. Sign up.
Look, coach said cut it.
Sign
Save
up.
it. Look,
the name itself.
the game is meant to be sold and not told. I can dig it.
I would ask you though, what are maybe one or two habits that changed your life? So for me, I practice gratitude even when I'm not at my best self every night. I journal every day. And my third one is I mix my music playlist. I go gospel, R&B, rap, because I need to keep my balance.
I might send you for the plug and play from back in 2017 when I lost that job that I talked about changing my life. I've always sat down and wrote things down. You know, that's something we both have in common is like we got notebooks for days that we still ain't no chat GPT going to take away our ability to handwrite. You got to chop my hand off because I'm going to write something down, plan out that next session. Now, I don't look back at the plan after I write it down though. Like I just know what I got to do. But some habits are for sure keep shooting until execution. If I'm doing something, I got a goal, I got something that I want, I'm not gonna stop until I get it or until God tells me, no, you can't have that. But outside of that, there's no man, no human being, nobody that bleed the same blood as me that could stop me. So really persevering through it all. I know redefining words, redefining shit. I got called tenacious before and it was in a negative view, pretty much telling me like I do too much and like I'm not taking no for an answer. But then that turned into tenacity. That was what propelled me into where I am today. So I think that was 3.
So what's next for you? When is the wedding? And if there is, I won't say woman because unlike me, she do take guys. If there is a person listening today, what advice would you give them?
So I could just skip over the when is the wedding question, right?
No.
So stay tuned. The wedding is looking like 2027.
Can I be my own +1?
Yeah, you can be your own +1 for sure. Mm-hmm. Don't bring your kids like the Chappelle Show used to say.
I was never. Mama,
but yeah, the wedding is coming. It's been a lot going on. Like I wanted to take that next step in our relationship. So the proposal came. Like I said, my daughter's turning 13 this year. I'm turning 30. Then wifey's turning 32. So like, you know, it's a bunch of stuff.
Don't take too long because it might be where I find my husband.
Hey, look, then you'll have a +1, you know?
No.
But
if you don't
by myself, he go home by himself.
If you don't find your husband, then can I be your +1?
You said that wedding's gonna be lit.
It's gonna be lit. Yo.
Content.
All right, so hold on. You gotta ask me the question again because I forgot now.
What's next for you? What are you doing
What's next for me? So this has been my slow down season. I've had to regroup this year. I've had to really introspect and follow my learn shit framework. What's next for me is really honing in on my skill set. It's more, you'll see more of me speaking in different spaces, teaching because I love to teach. You'll see more programming coming out, more digital assets. But yeah, what's next is really just taking this time to not have to plot out every piece of life and kind of going with the flow.
And it's crazy because most people in our industry, they don't work together. We work together all the time because we're toxic.
No, we are each other's network. Like, for real, like she's my credit, my CPA, taxes, you know what I mean? Shit, when it comes down to real estate, all of that, like, and it's not just because it's just her. Like, she has other extensions of her, you know, other people that she's partnered with that I'm like, hey, yo, let me tap in with, you know, Alex, mortgage before marriage. Hold up, look, he got my, yo, Alex, on camera, you got my fiance walking around the house talking about mortgage before marriage, finances before fiance, Rockefeller before Beyonce. I need her to learn some shit, all right? Nah, but for real, you know, really they say that your network is your net worth. And I have found a wealth of just connections, relationships, energy, vibes from Whitney. And she's a hard person to break through. Like, if you don't know her for real or don't take the time to get to know her, she seems tough on the outside, but she a jelly bean for real. She all soft on the inside.
I'm fucking around to find out.
Don't do that, because the way she talked to them bill collectors and them debt collectors.
That's what be killing me. I said that earlier, like, yo, the nerve of people to have me cussing out the IRS bill collectors and then think I won't cuss your ass out.
Listen, I'll call like, hey, I can't do it because like I really can't talk to them like that. I can't do it. Can you do it for me? She'll be like, what they do? She's the big sister that's gonna come and get that shit off your credit.
This whole network outage. Oh, Comcast don't even. I've been Inboxing.
I'm not paying for any seconds that I was not connected.
I'm not paying for the whole month.
Hey, yo, they say how do rich people get rich and stay rich? They're cheap as hell. Like, yo, some of the richest people that I know, they don't tip. they ask questions about their bill. Like, don't let this social media culture make you think that rich is, I just dropped my car down and y'all pay what I got to pay that damn bill back. I want to know what is coming out from my flow. Okay?
I ain't paying Comcast for a couple months, and they know that.
Listen, messing with Whitney, your car note to be
and
freaking,
Amazon's about to give me free Prime.
Your car note
started
for
in
a year.
events. So where can people find you?
You can find me on all platforms at Coach Bri Nichols, BRI. I say Bri like the cheese minus the E. It's so cheesy now you can't forget me. So that's CoachBriNichols on all platforms.
I told you we be going off script. How we start talking about hood beef.